Hello, welcome to episode 130 of the Craft House Magic podcast. My name's Ellie and I'm coming to you from Norwich in Norfolk in the UK, and today is the 27th of August. So welcome everybody. I hope you've all had a lovely crafty week since the last time I've spoken to you, and I'm here to share what I've been making in the last 7 days. So today I have some knitting, I have some cross stitch, I have a few confessions, oh dear. And I have a question from the Ask Me Anything thread. So you can find me on Instagram, Ravelry and Facebook as Craft House Magic, and I have my own website, crafthousemagik.co.uk, where you can find my handmade project bags, hand-dyed yarns, stitch markers, HiyaHiya knitting needles and bag making supplies as well. So we have the summer sock along going on in the Ravelry group at the moment, and it runs till the end of August, so you still have a few days to enter, so do drop over and pop your finished objects in there, or what you're panicking working on in the last minute. I will draw for prizes from the discussion thread, so you don't actually have to finish, but don't forget to show us what you've been working on. So let's get on with the knitting, shall we? I have a finished object to show you. These are for Adam. Some rather long socks that are so long, in fact, that they don't really fit on my sock blockers. You can just about see the hook there. So these are knitted in Katia sock yarn, and they're, I think it was called the Rainbow Socks in a Box I bought, and I think I got the box from Fibre East last year, and they're knitted up now. This Katia yarn is not my favourite yarn to knit with. This particular type I found to be quite splitty. So these are knitted from the top down, and it started with red and then graded into some greys, and then the greys turned into sort of reds and blacks as well, and that's how they come out. So you get two small 50-gram balls which you can start at the beginning so that they're matching. I ended up knitting and doing an Afterthought heel, so this black heel is knitted with the yarn that comes after this section here. But again, like I said, it's very splitty, and I would not buy it again. It's really not my favourite yarn to work with. You can see the effect of how the yarn comes out. So at the beginning I think there's two, might be more than 2 strands. There's multiple strands, and all the strands are red, and then you get 1 strand of grey, 2 strands. There's several strands of different colours which allow it to grade like this, but I wouldn't buy it again. It's not my favourite sock yarn. I feel that it seems like it might be relatively durable, and I'm pleased that they're finished, but it's definitely not one I'd buy again. But we have a very nice long pair of socks for Adam for winter. They look a little bit silly because they're too long for the sock blockers. So that's probably about pair number 40 that I've knitted for Adam now. Oh dear. Basically I used my basic simple top down sock, but instead of doing the standard heel I did the Afterthought heel, which I also have a video for, and I shall put links to the pattern and the Afterthought heel video in the description box down below. So that's my finished object. So I now have a cheat project because Adam's mum, my mother-in-law Liz, has knitted quite a lot of this shawl for me. Now this shawl is called the Chevron Shenanigans by Stephen West, and I picked out 5 colourways from my stash to knit it up, and I shall tell you what the colourways are in a little bit. But you can see that she's knitted a little bit into the purple, and actually the pattern says to cast off then, and I was going to cast it off, but actually I quite fancy just a little bit more of that purple on the edge because it is so gorgeous. So I'm very excited to be knitting a little bit on this one. So the first colour in the shawl is this sort of turquoisey bluey colour, and that's a West Green Loft yarns in the Surfs Up colourway. The second one in the fade is a Ball of Love yarns, and actually I think she changed her name to Looking Glass Fibre Arts, but I'm not sure if she's dyeing anymore, but that's the second one. The third one is a Snuggly Stars yarn, which is this one. This is what's left obviously, and this one is the Nottingham 2018 special edition yarn that I picked up at Nottingham Yarn Expo. And then the last one, which has got quite a lot left, which you can see why I wanted to put some more on the edge, because it's such a lovely vivid colour. It's not something I normally pick out, but actually I love it. And these 5 yarns together, I just love how they work. So this one is also a Ball of Love yarns, which, as I said before, I think she changed her name to Looking Glass Fibre Arts, but I don't know if she is dyeing anymore, whether there is a website. If I can find one, I'll pop it in the show notes in the description bar down below. I absolutely love it, so I'm going to show it to you again. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm going to have to stand back slightly to kind of get more of the shawl in. Isn't that lovely? Ta-da! But you can see that pop of pinky purple at the bottom definitely needs to be larger. So I have something very exciting to show you. I have a sample finished for the Advent wrap for this year's Advent calendar. So if you don't want to see it until you get your copy, skip along to the timestamp that I've popped down below so that you get it as a surprise when I email you the pattern over to you. The yarns that I've knitted it in aren't in the Advent colours for this year, it's just some yarns out of my stash that I've used. So skip along now if you don't want to see it. But I'm very excited to show you. So this is the end, and it's got these gorgeous tassels on. I'm just absolutely tassel crazy at the moment. I'm loving them. So that's what the end looks like, and then you've got a standard sort of wrap shape but with a chevron in there, and we've got tassels at the other end as well. Really cute. So there's a lot of garter stitch, but there are a few lace sections in there to sort of keep you occupied. But if you don't fancy knitting the lace sections, you can just skip them. That's absolutely fine. And I knitted this in 12 20-gram skeins of yarn, but there are instructions for 24 10-gram minis or 24 20-gram minis. And you can sort of wear it as a wrap around your shoulders, like so, or as a bit of a scarf. So you can see those tassels. And it's a really nice length actually, this one. Not too long. And really enjoyed making all of those little tassels. So that's the sneaky peek of the Advent pattern for this year. For those of you who haven't purchased an Advent, I will be putting the pattern up for sale at the end of November as well, but of course I'll have sent it out to all the people that have purchased the Advents before then, as a bit of a sort of thank you for purchasing my Advent for this year. So there we go. I think that's all my knitting for today, but I do have some cross stitch to show you. So I've been very good this week. I have been doing sort of 20 minutes every morning on my cross stitch to get it finished. And I've actually found that that is brilliant. One, because it's lovely and bright in the morning, so I can actually see what I'm doing. And two, because just it's a kind of a little treat to myself every morning. So I have been enjoying that. And this is how far I've got. So since the last time I showed it to you, I have done this little bird, this like patchwork little logo like a sun, and little Harriet the Hare there, as well as two of these trees I finished, and I've started the base of this tree as well, and that tree will be very similar to the tree on this side, just in this space here. And a couple of people said that I've missed the two off this little bit here. Don't worry, I've now you've said, I've made notes to make sure I go back to it. I probably would have realised when I was doing the next border anyway, but I've no idea why I missed that two out just by the tree there. I have found that this pattern, so it's a Moira Blackburn pattern, and this pattern is actually still available now. When I was doing it a few months ago, I couldn't find it anywhere, but they must have re-released it. So I shall leave a link to somewhere that you can purchase it in the description bar as well. So here is the pattern what it's supposed to look like in the end, and I'm basically just doing this tree bit here, and then I've got to start working on the border bits. Very exciting. So that's a Moira Blackburn pattern, and I think this one was released in 1982 or something. I saw somewhere on the packaging, and I got mine from a charity shop absolutely ages ago and just thought I love those colours in there, and I'm so pleased I did. And now that I've really got into doing a little bit of cross stitch every morning, I'm sure it'll be finished by Christmas. Let's hope so anyway. I have got some other embroidery things that I want to have a go at very, very soon. So I'm hoping to have a very stitchy weekend. Plus I have some dressmaking that I haven't finished, so I won't show you this week, but it will be ready next week. I am absolutely sure about that. Very excited about that, so watch this space. I have some confessions to show you now, so oh dear. I seem to purchase something from Rainbow Fabrics every week for the last few weeks, and I was just having a look just to see what they got new in, and I saw that they'd got some black modal fabric. So this is a rayon, but it's a sort of higher quality to viscose, and it's called modal. So I had to get a few meters of that because I thought that that would make a lovely skirt. So I've got a few meters ready, all washed, ready to use. So that's the first one I purchased, and I was quite good because I only bought 2 fabrics this week. And the second one I bought was this gorgeous floral. I just thought this was really unusual, but also really, really pretty. And this is a viscose fabric, a very drapey viscose, and that is going to be a dress of some sort. I did buy 4 meters, so I've got quite a few dress patterns I could choose from, but I haven't quite decided yet. But I just thought that was absolutely gorgeous. This is what made me do a purchase, and I thought, well, I might as well get some of the modal as well, because plain black fabric has always got to be useful, hasn't it? And they sent me some buttons actually as a little extra, so I got a packet of little grey buttons here, which I wonder if they watch the podcast, because I was saying about these sort of mottled ones in the last podcast, so who knows. And a whole packet of these gold ones as well. Let's see if I can get the focus in a bit closer. There, to these gold ones. So I've got lots of buttons to be working with. I think they might have realised that I was basically keeping the shop running with all my orders I was putting in. Oh dear. But they are a really nice, they always seem to be posting out really quickly, and actually I'll show you the card, the information, but I will put links to Rainbow Fabrics in the description bar as well, so you don't have to pause the screen. I will stick with the sort of dress making theme because I do have some other things as well. Oh dear. So I purchased this book. So I've seen loads and loads of people have this, and I've purchased myself a copy because I was needing to buy something from Amazon and I needed to make it up to £20, and this was on my wish list, so I thought, well, why not treat myself? Oh dear. So I haven't had a proper look through. I've had quite a bit of a flick, and you can use different sort of skirt styles with top styles to sort of create your own dress. So there's a lot of different sort of patterns in there, sort of really fancy dresses as an example. But they also have sort of the summary ones and different examples there, as well as the patterns and instructions of how to modify them. So I'm excited to have a go with that one. And then I've been obviously on a bit of an embroidery kick as well lately, because I wanted to get some more linen. And my lovely friend Julie recommended a needlework shop called Peakside Needleworks, and I ordered some gorgeous, gorgeous linens, and I'm really pleased with these. So this one is a 40 count antique white. This is not going to be particularly interesting for you to see, but it is a really lovely quality linen. And because I'm excited to do some little embroideries that are my sort of own design to put around the house. And then I also got one in the platinum colourway in the 40 count as well. So really nice plain linens to do some stitching on. And then because I had a look at the website patterns on the cross stitch, I saw this It's Country Cottage Needleworks pattern, and to be honest, this isn't as nice. This printout here isn't quite as nice as it looked on the screen. I will see if I can get the photograph off the website, Peakside Needleworks, to show you what this looks like properly, but I just thought it was really, really cute. So that's going to be something I'm going to stitch sometime in the future. The linens I've purchased to do some free embroidery rather than just cross stitch, but it's nice to have a bit of a range of things to do. So, oh, I wanted to say as well, the Peakside Needleworks had brilliant customer service. I think that was the quickest dispatch and delivery that I've had in a lot of things that I've ordered lately. So definitely recommend Peakside Needleworks. And my friend Julie also said that she'd emailed the lady who owns the shop, and she was really good at helping with customer service as well, so that's a good sign. So I'm definitely going to purchase some more things from there again, and the linen is absolutely gorgeous. So I just have some questions from the Ask Me Anything thread. Now I did have one from Katie regarding socks, but I'm going to leave that till next week because I forgot to ask Adam which pair of socks is his favourite, and I wanted to give you a nice accurate answer, so I'll leave that till next week, Katie, sorry. For this week I'm going to do a question from George, and she was asking me about lace charts, some tips on how to read lace charts. Now, just charts in general I think can be a little bit daunting to read, but they're actually so much easier than reading the text, I think. I think that as long as you know sort of the basic rules of reading charts, it makes it so much easier. You can just glance at where you're supposed to be, you can stick some washi tape over where your pattern is, and it's much easier to follow, I think. So with a in the round pattern, you normally read the chart from bottom right to bottom left, and then go work up the chart so that you work from bottom to top. If you're working flat, you want to work from right to left, and then when you're coming on the back of the work, you want to read from left to right on the next line. So it's just a case of going right to left, left to right. So it's not as hard as you think. You just need to make sure that you take note of, right, am I working in the round or am I working flat? You just look at the little symbols to find out what the next stitch is, which is easy enough. You just have to make sure that you scan over the key so that you know what symbol means what stitch before you start reading the chart. Sometimes you have increases or decreases in the chart, in which case you might have some bits greyed out. So if you've got a full line of stitches at the bottom and then you end up with these sort of triangles of grey stitches, it just means that you've done some decreases so that there's less stitches to follow, and you just ignore the grey boxes completely and just follow the boxes that have these symbols in. In the other situation where you have less stitches going up to increase to more stitches, you might have sections of the chart where there's gaps in the bottom of the chart, and you just do the stitches that are marked and aren't greyed out. Just ignore the greyed out boxes, and then when you get to the point where you've got enough stitches, you have to follow the whole stitches in across the chart because there's no boxes that are greyed out. So general rule, if there's a greyed out box, there is no stitch there at all. You just ignore that place, and I think that those tips might give you a bit more confidence with using your charts generally. So lace charts specifically, you just have to make sure that you know which squares are yarn overs and things like that. But I think that the main issues really are knowing where to start on the chart and what to do when you see a grey box. Just ignore it completely. So if you have 3 white boxes, 2 grey boxes and 3 white boxes, and the white boxes are all marked knit, you just ignore those grey completely and you just do 6 knit stitches basically. So hopefully that it makes things a little clearer for you, George, and to anybody else who hasn't used charts before. So I think that's enough for today. I do have some more Ask Me Anything questions, but I'm going to do those once a week as I come to them, otherwise it'll just end up me talking for half an hour. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I shall see you in the next episode. Bye!